Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to a very special live edition of On to the Next One. Yes, the matchmaking crowns are back following UFC 316 in Brick City, Newark, New Jersey. The Prudential Center was rocking as Merab Dvalishvili and Kayla Harrison got stoppage wins in the main and co-main events to leave Newark with bantamweight gold. We have a lot of other things to talk about storyline wise, but we are here to matchmake and sort of discuss the fallout of this event with all of you the day after UFC 316. I am Mike Heck, and joining me as always, the co-host, the co-matchmaker, the Prince of Positivity, my best friend, AK316 means we're going to talk some fist fighting. Alexander K. Lee, back in the hot seat. How are you, sir?
I'm great, my best friend. I'm great. Love me some 316. Love me some Austin 316. Kind of love me some UFC 316. I wasn't on the pre-fight stuff, so didn't give a gymnastics score, and I'm not exactly sure what it would have been, but I think it it would have been close to it. I think it would have hit its potential. I think we were hoping for meaningful results in the top two fights, which we certainly got. I think we were hoping for some prospects to step up on our highlights. We got that. I think we had some people right the ship for better, for worse. And I think, we only had one major letdown, and we'll talk about it more a bit later. Of course, Patchy Mix's debut was a bit of a letdown, but on the other side, kind of redemption for Mario Bautista, who I thought put on a great performance. So really pretty enjoyable card all the way through. Again, yeah, there's 3 or 4 prelims that we won't be talking about for some time. But some of these up and coming fighters really put on strong performances on that portion of the card. And, we could look back on it as part of a bigger picture if some of these fighters end up being contenders or just long time, fan favorites in the UFC. So really fine night at the office, I think, for the UFC, and obviously a spectacular night from Merab Dvalishvili and Kayla Harrison, who delivered as expected.
There's pretty much like a checklist of things that tell me if a card was good, at least personally for me, because I'm not here to lie to the world. I am not a young man anymore. I am in my 40s and staying up till 3, 4, 5 in the morning. Not as easy as it once was, but when I can do it and still am feeling amped up, right, as my head hits the pillow about what I watched, then I know it was an enjoyable card. I had a real good time watching this event. I have not said that about a lot of cards this year. There have been many watch parties thus far in 2025 where I felt sluggish. It just seemed like I was watching fights for 100 hours straight, and the main event wasn't spectacular. I mean, 315, I think, ended in a great way. 316, all in all, from the last 6 fights, 5 of the last 6 fights gave us something to talk about for the next couple of days. Like, Josh Van is so good at 23 years old. This dude is going to fight for a world title. Kevin Holland was one of the low-key MVPs of not just UFC 316, but the entire day because of his social media presence and getting people all fired up by just tweeting out 5 words that meant absolutely nothing. And then the bell rang and he just beat the shit out of Vicente Luque. Mario Bautista beating Patchy Mix gave us a lot to talk about. We'll be talking about Patchy Mix for weeks now, more than likely. Joe Pyfer's the one guy we're not going to talk about a whole hell of a lot. I mean, and it's not like his fault. He had a nice, mature, evolved performance against Kelvin Gastelum. He won the fight. He knocked Kelvin down a few times, but it was just kind of a weird fight that Joe Pyfer, who is a prolific finisher, fighting a guy who can't be finished in a fight. And that's sort of what we saw. And then co-main event gave us something we're going to be talking about for several months with Amanda Nunes coming back. It's one of the biggest fights the UFC can make right now. And then Merab stating his case to be the bantamweight GOAT, and 2 of the biggest burning questions we're going to attempt to answer on this show right now. So I was pretty excited for this. I was pretty excited to get an hour or so extra sleep. So I'm a little more refreshed doing the show at 1 p.m. Eastern as opposed to doing it at like 10 or 11 a.m. Eastern. So let's get right into it, AK, because thankfully, just for time allotment, both champions have made our lives very easy, and the UFC has sort of made our lives very easy as well. We will quickly begin with Merab Dvalishvili, who is still the UFC bantamweight champion. He's won 13 fights in a row. His resume is absolutely ridiculous. There is a growing debate on whether or not he is the greatest bantamweight of all time. We, as a website, are going to discuss this a little more in depth with an article that is going to drop tomorrow, sort of a report card for UFC 316. So we'll kind of table the bantamweight GOAT talk for a minute. But Merab goes out there. Sean was looking pretty good for the first 2.5, 3 minutes of this fight. Loved the movement. He was dialed in. And then he had some friction issues on the mat. He throws a kick. He trips and falls. Merab gets on top of him. Sean's able to get back up. And the very next moment, it seemed after he got back to his feet, he slipped and fell again. And then from that point on, it was the Merab Dvalishvili show. He just mauled Sean O'Malley. And then he was landing big strikes in round 2. He looked real good. And then he finished him in round 3. Maybe Jed Meshew just blasting him on BTL and all subsequent programs was just the fire Merab Dvalishvili needed. But submission win, gets it done, puts Sean O'Malley behind him for good. And it appears we're going to get Merab Dvalishvili versus Cory Sandhagen. And I got to tell you, AK, I am genuinely excited for that fight.
It's what we all want. It's what we all want. It makes sense. Cory has earned this. Yes, he's stumbled in contender opportunities before, but he has not had a chance to fight for the undisputed title yet. He had an interim opportunity against Aljo once upon a time. Oh, sorry, against Petr Yan, excuse me, once upon a time. And what was an awesome fight. I loved that. One of my favorite fights of that year, him and Petr Yan. Then who did Cory just beat again to Davidson Figueiredo. So I think when we did that on to the next one follow-up episode, we were saying he should get the winner of this fight. Like I know there's a few people who still want to see him fight O'Malley at some point. I think there was some like sentiment of, well, win or lose, he should fight O'Malley to like one more for the title shot. But it's hard to argue that he hasn't done enough. And 2, it's also even harder to argue that O'Malley, should be any sort of gatekeeper to a title shot at this point. At least not when it comes to Cory Sandhagen. Maybe for someone else. When it comes to Cory Sandhagen, he's done enough. What are his chances of beating Merab Dvalishvili? I don't know. I don't know what any 135er's chances are of beating Merab Dvalishvili right now. His style is just so made for counteracting pretty much anyone in the division, for going a hard 25 minutes or however long it needs to go. In this case, he got a finish. But it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. I don't want to hear any talk of like, well, this sell pay-per-views, blah, blah. Who gives a crap? I mean, who really gives a crap? How much pay-per-views did this one probably sell? I don't like, I know we have said a lot about O'Malley's popularity, but I don't think he's still transcended that point where it's like, oh, well, O'Malley brings in like, 200K pay-per-view buys by himself. It's like, I don't think that's the case. More popular than Cory Sandhagen? Probably. But at this point, it's just impossible to argue that Cory should not be the next man up.
Yeah, 100%. I want to address something real quick because just opposed to saying he got yelled at the watch party last night for defending women's bantamweight. And I just want to correct the record. You did not get yelled at because you were defending women's bantamweight. You got yelled at because you continuously forget that Macy Chiasson lost to Ketlen Vieira literally 8 days ago. Because you kept like touting her as the next in line to fight for a belt. And I'm like, she just lost a non-competitive fight. So she's not fighting for a belt. She's not fighting for it. So
I think
that's the bit. That's why you got yelled at, because you kept saying, oh, well, Macy's next in line and Macy's waiting and she's right there. No, she's not. She lost.
Yeah,
she lost bad.
I will say, I know what Joseph means. I think he's saying like she technically hasn't lost at bantamweight in so long, but it really doesn't matter. Yeah, it just doesn't matter. It's not fair to her. It's not fair to her that that it had to be at a different weight. But I mean, that loss is going to linger in everyone's mind, regardless of whether it's a 145 or 135 catch weight. Like it just doesn't matter. It is a loss. It is a loss to, again, someone who is in her division, who is widely regarded as a gatekeeper for a title shot. And it was really disappointing for Macy. But yeah, we can't say that. We can't go like, oh, well, she hasn't lost a bantamweight. Not a single person cares. Not a single person cares as far as I can.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's she was fine. She needed that one. Mm-hmm. If you can't, there are certain things that like you just can't. You can't really say at this point. One is like Macy made a choice to take the fight. She lost, and it dings her badly, mostly because she's not like an overstar. The other thing, and I've seen this a lot, is, well, we give Patchy Mix an excuse because he took the fight on short notice. No, sorry. This man has literally said the entire time, I've been ready for a fight. I could have fought tomorrow. I've been in a training camp for literally a year, just waiting for my opportunity. And just the things this guy was saying all week, you have to just like ride that wave now. So hopefully when Patchy does say something and he quote unquote breaks his silence about the loss, it is not, oh, I took this fight on short notice. I dared to be great because I will lose my mind if that's what it happens. It's like, yo, you know, I went in there, I felt great, and Mario was just the better guy. Hats off. I'll be back. Like, cool. That I'm in, man. Like, I love that stuff, but I don't want to hear any excuses. When you say you're going to run through the dude and then you're going to get the attention of everybody in the division, you're going to go fight Merab and Sean O'Malley, like, you got to go in there and back it up. Like, it's just the nature of the business, especially in the UFC. So yeah. We'll talk about what happened with that fight and the aftermath and everything in a moment. But there's two very interesting topics right now, okay? And it has nothing to do with the champions on this particular program. It's the title fighters who did not leave Newark with gold. And one of them is Sean O'Malley, who has now lost 2 in a row. He was not overly competitive with Merab in either of these fights. And then he got tapped by Merab, which is not a great look. So, but Sean O'Malley, to his credit, took it on the chin. No excuses. This is the best he's looked. Even Dana White said, dude is 100% healthy. Like, what can you say? I don't know what it's going to take to beat this dude. And Sean O'Malley has been saying the right things, where I'm taking this seriously. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm 30. I'm more mature. I've developed. I'm a family man. I'm looking at things in a whole new different light. And it seems like he wants to get back in there and do something. So the question is, AK, and this is something we talked about a lot on the watch party and on the post-fight show, is Sean O'Malley's bantamweight days over? Because a lot of people are like, just go to 145. Maybe Sean O'Malley, like Chael Sonnen said, is the Rich Franklin of bantamweight right now, where because there's the boogeyman and Merab Dvalishvili there, Sean should just move up and maybe try for a second belt and just leave the division. But there are still fights for him at bantamweight. So what is next for Sean O'Malley after losing this fight?
For me, I think it makes a lot of sense to just stay at 135. He shouldn't have gotten the immediate title shot in the first place. This is almost every time we see someone get one of these immediate title shots unearned and too quickly, we go like, well, you're really putting this fighter behind the 8 ball if they lose. And so many of these fighters have lost that immediate rematch. We saw it with in this very division. Cody Garbrandt was an amazing example. Should not have gotten that immediate rematch with TJ Dillashaw. Does it change anything in the long run? I don't know, but I do think there's a world where Cody, loses that first Dillashaw fight, comes back with a win or two to get the rematch, and we look at it differently. Instead, yes, you lose those 2 fights, and you are so far from a title opportunity as long as that person is on top. And in Merab's case, it looks like he's going to be up there for a while. Like I don't think anyone's going to beat him for at least a year. I've touted an Umar Nurmagomedov rematch for a long time. But again, that's going to be, I think, at least a year away. And even then, I don't know if Umar is the guy to beat Merab, because Merab looked really good in that first fight and won a pretty clear-cut decision. So I'm struggling with Sean a bit. I don't want him to go to 145. He's certainly like rangy enough, but if he has problems with grappling, not problems with grappling, I would say his takedown defense actually looked okay against Merab. But there are other good wrestlers at 145 too. And that's just going to be worse for him. He'll be average sized at featherweight, and it's not going to look great. The power might translate, it might not. That's another issue. He should stay at 135. But that's only assuming he's aware it could be a very, very, very long time before he fights for a UFC title again. Because he'll need Merab to either be upset and lose, or move on to another division, or just retire. And I don't know if any of that's happening anytime soon. I went with bantamweight for my pick for him. We just talked about this guy. I said, F it. I'm throwing him in there with Patchy Mix. Yeah. I said, let's just. Yeah, I actually got a few of this picks like this week where I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just do it. I think that's how much fun I had with this card. Both guys have a lot to prove, man. I mean, I wouldn't call O'Malley's performance disappointing, but like we said, he is far back of the line, and Mix is definitely back of the line the way he fought on Saturday, the way he lost. Like that was tough to watch. So if Mix wants to, stay in that title picture, wants to say like, hey, I swear I am a championship guy, well, prove it. Fight a guy who's a former champion, fight a guy who's just coming off 2 title bouts. Let's see it happen. I'm interested. I just think it's a cool fight too. And then if Patchy loses that fight, it's not like he's done forever, but then that's when we have a hard recalibration. And then it's, instead of, matching Patchy up with top 7, top 8 guys, we look back to the 15 to 20 range and say, well, Patchy, sorry, man, you got to climb back up the hard way now. But let's give him one more big fight and see how it goes.
So I have a different idea for Patchy Mix because I love you, AK. You're my best friend, but you're very wrong about this because you just can't do this. You just can't. Patchy cannot fight Sean O'Malley next.
I just did.
You can't. It can't happen. You just did. This is a little tougher for me. Like there were thoughts I had. Like Figgy was one of the guys I thought about, and we were kind of trying to iron this out on the post-fight show. And then there was just straight up Rob Font was another guy I thought of. I see it there. The correct answer is Henry Cejudo. Like you just go ahead and just pay that one off and get it done, because two reasons why I like this fight. One, there's a little bit of heat there. Two, Sean O'Malley will take it very seriously. And three, it'll likely be the final fight of Henry Cejudo's career. So just wins all around, if we're being honest. So, and it would be a big one for Henry, and it would get built in the right way. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and do that. And if Sean O'Malley can't beat Henry Cejudo at this point in Henry Cejudo's career, then we have to have a different conversation, I think. And maybe Henry goes out on a win over Sean O'Malley. Like that'd be kind of a cool moment. So yeah, just chuck those two dudes in there, two former champions fighting, and that's that.
I think my biggest fear is Cejudo wins and doesn't retire. That would be horrifying to me. So
I think he would.
I think I like your pick, but boy, I just am worried he would suddenly start calling for a title shot if he beat O'Malley or something.
This is nothing for him. Like he's not going to fight for a belt.
I don't know if he believes that, Mike. I don't know if he believes that.
Dude, I mean, it's Henry Cejudo. But yeah, there's only two fights that make sense for Cejudo. It's either Brandon Moreno or Sean O'Malley, and it doesn't appear the Brandon Moreno fight's going to happen. So yeah, there you go. Just chuck him in there with Cejudo, two biggish names, and we'll go from there. Kayla Harrison's very easy, AK.
Who do you have for Kayla, Mike? Who do you have for cue up the band? Cue up the band.
Obviously, it's Julianna Pena, the rematch. I mean, come on. Like we did. Look, Julianna Pena had a torn labrum. She wasn't herself. Exactly. She was, on social media. No, obviously I'm joking, but I am so fired up for Harrison Nunes, man. I am so fired up for this fight. And I didn't think I would be this fired up for it. I really didn't expect myself to get to where I'm at right now. Like I was going to be excited for it. It's a big deal and it's huge and all that. But after that face off and like they exchanged like very kind, respectful words, but you could see a little heat in both their eyes. Then that face off, Nunes looks like she's been hitting the weights. She looks she looks jacked, man. I love this fight so much. I'm so ready for it. And maybe this is a hot take. I don't care. This is one of the 5 biggest fights the UFC can make right now.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it like ever. I was like, that would be a hot
like
take.
Men's,
right now,
women's,
easily. Right
this
now,
is one of the 5. Even if everybody is healthy and ready to go, this is one of the 5 biggest fights they can make. And you could do it. This could be like if they sign with Netflix, like this could be the Netflix debut main event. This could be the first women's championship fight in UFC history to headline in Madison Square Garden. I mean, there's so many possibilities with how big you can make this fight. And at least for now, AK, bantamweight is back. Oh, I'm sorry. Bantamweight is where we all expected it to be. Am I right, AK?
Never gone.
Am I right?
Never gone. Never gone, my friend. Never gone. Yeah, it's great. It's UFC got the outcome they wanted. I think a lot of fans got the outcome they wanted. Listen, and props to Julianna Pena. I think she did a great job promoting this fight. She tried to cheat, which I thought was great as well. When she started just wildly throwing those up kicks and like cracked her with 2 clean ones, I'm like, yeah, Julianna, like this is your only chance. This is your only chance. Respectfully, I know you're the champion, but I do think Kayla Harrison is a better fighter. So how do you win when you're in this kind of situation? You cheat your ass off. And were it not for a incredibly competent refereeing job by Vitor Ribeiro, shout out to Shaolin, she probably wouldn't have lost a point with a lot of other refs, right? She rocked her with a kick. I don't know if another referee would have like not taken the point and put them back into position, but there's a chance that she would have gotten away with it and also got the fight stood back up. Like you just don't know with some referees. So I thought that her throwing those kicks was like, I don't want to say genius because it's not. I don't want to give her that much credit, but she was a huge underdog in this fight. And if that had worked and that hurt Kayla Harrison, like that damage just would not go away. It doesn't matter whether you deduct a point or not. That damage was not going away. If that had somehow affected Kayla worse than it did, there's a chance Pena could have won the fight. And so she had to take every chance she got. So fair play to her. Well, unfair play to her, but yes, I respected the cheating big time. And in the end, thankfully, it didn't matter. Kayla Harrison took care of his, got the submission. So yeah, this fight with Amanda is so exciting. It's organic, it's really organic. It's not a fight like I always wanted, but it has built up so well over the years. And with Amanda being very smart, Amanda kind of always keeping that door open. There was probably maybe 1 or 2 interviews where she said, "Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm not coming back. I don't want to fight anyone, blah, blah." But whenever Kayla's name came up, there was always that hint of, well, like, we'll see if Kayla makes it. Like, don't commit to anything. Just we'll see if Kayla makes it. Sure enough, Kayla 3-0 in the UFC. Great job so far. Great win. Great promo. Made sure to call Amanda into the cage. Security did their job, letting Amanda in. They'd probably be a little extra careful. The president was right there. Like, I understand that security was kind of like, wait, we can't just let anyone jump in with the crowd. They probably knew Amanda Nunes is too. But again, the president was right next to the cage and right there. So security probably a little tighter. But yeah, it all worked out. The face-off was great. Like you said, Mike, respectful. They weren't like trying to jaw jack and overly trash talk each other. But that's because we all know that the tension is real. The tension of, they used to train together. Who is... People always talk about Amanda's, just out-muscled her way, to a title. It's just for physical gifts. Well, they're not going to make that argument with Kayla. I mean, Amanda looked huge in there, don't get me wrong. But we always talk about Kayla's like a friggin' specimen. Probably one of the best athletes in all of MMA today. So that part is factors into it. It's awesome, man. I hope we get it, before the end of the year. But I know Damon mentioned it on social media that 6 months, supposed to be 6 months mandatory, if you come back from retirement. Unless they make an exception, Mike. The UFC would never do that.
They run their own drug testing program, so yes, they could certainly make an exception for that. But I think Nunes is going to want to take her time and, build this thing up, man. There is no rush right now, especially with the types of fights the UFC is making that is selling out arenas. So there's no rush. Build this thing up, put on a big card, let it stand alone, do the thing, all good. And Julianna Pena, what a great trier. And I blame Waldo Cortez Acosta for the point take, because Waldo Cortez Acosta also cheated his ass off in the 3rd round of the Sergey Spivak fight, because had Sergey Spivak gotten the full takedown without Waldo Cortez Acosta literally grabbing the outside of the cage over the top pad, Sergey Spivak was going to maybe win that fight. So yeah, cheat your ass off. There's no point taken there. And then he blatantly grabbed the fence again when Sergey tried to take him back down. Just brilliant cheating by Waldo Cortez Acosta. And now he's a top 10 heavyweight. What a crazy ass world we are living in right now. But yeah, dude, Harrison Nunes has got to be bonkers. Very excited for that. But now we go to Julianna Pena, AK. We go to Julianna Pena. And it's tough scenes for Julianna Pena right now. Pretty tough scenes. I will give her credit. And I'm not I wasn't a gigantic fan of her trash talk and stuff, but she made this fight what it was. She built this thing up, and Harrison was a very solid dance partner because of Pena just sort of setting her up, and Pena was the villain. She was the heel in this fight, and she got her comeuppance, and it made the moment for Kayla even better because Kayla was the baby face and Pena was the girl everyone wanted to see lose. And that's actually what happened here. So it made it bigger. Julianna Pena is also a UFC Hall of Famer now. She's a 2-time champion. Even though her resume is very strange and her overall UFC record isn't the best, and she only has 1 win over a current fighter on the UFC roster right now, and Raquel Pennington, which a lot of people feel like she didn't even win that fight. She is still a 2-time champ, and she will have those accomplishments, and she will be enshrined in the UFC Hall of Fame because she has won the belt twice. But now she is in such a weird position because unlike Sean O'Malley, who the UFC is going to push to the moon until the day that Dana White is no longer in the chair that he is in, Julianna Pena is not a massive star for them. She is just kind of there. And now Julianna Pena sort of gets put in a position where she has lost any chance of fighting Amanda Nunes the 3rd time. She will never fight Kayla Harrison again. That feud is over because this fight was not competitive at all outside of the illegal kick that got her a point taken away. So now she becomes the Caitlin Chukagian / Sermonara of women's bantamweight, potentially, where she is going to have to fight off staving contenders looking to fight for a belt, which they won't be able to do for quite some time until this Harrison Nunes thing is settled. And that could take multiple fights and well over a year for that to happen. What So I don't know what to do with Julianna Pena, AK. I landed on Eileen Perez because she seems to have some kind of buzz right now. But I truly do not know what to do with Pena. And I don't know what kind of motivation she's going to have to continue doing this because, what else? Maybe she has things to prove to the MMA community in terms of her overall resume. But in terms of accomplishments, I don't know if she can accomplish anything more. You know what I mean? Is she excited to fight Norma Dumont or fight Macy Chiasson or Ketlin Vieira? No, I don't think so. Eileen Perez at least has some buzz and Pena could win that fight potentially. I don't know, man. I don't know where the motivation comes from, but if I have to pick a name, I'll go with that one because at least I think the UFC can do something with Eileen Perez. But I don't know, man. Weird spot.
It's almost pointless to do this because I don't think we see Julianna fight again for a year. I think she's pretty happy. She's made good money. I think she's pretty happy with her life, and she's not going to rush back in there. I mean, let's look at her schedule. She's only fought 5 times since 2020. So she loses to GDR in 2020, fights twice in 2021. Of course, the Nunes win was in there. Then loses to Amanda in 2022. And then I think she has quite some injuries she had to deal with and doesn't return until 2 years later. So, and then this was 7-8 months between fights. Again, she's in no rush. She's doing well, I think, with her career. Good for her. I know she's got other pigs on the iron. I know she does commentary and things like that. And she's involved with other promotions. So that's good. So that's good for her. I hope she does take time off if she wants to, and that she can be healthy and happy. So yes, maybe it's Eileen Perez, but it won't be Eileen Perez in 4 months from now. It'll be Eileen Perez maybe next year, depending where Eileen Perez is. I pick Macy Chiasson. Again, maybe not this year, maybe next year. So she could go in any number of directions, but it's really not worth, beating this dead horse because we don't know when she'll be back. We don't know when she'll be back, and we don't know what the women's bantamweight division will look like, or even if there will be a women's bantamweight division when she decides to come back.
Let's go to Joe Pyfer, AK. We talked about him earlier. Look, this is a fight we're not going to go back and watch again. Although Pyfer hurt Kelvin Gastelum probably the most he's ever been hurt in a fight.
Crazy.
Multiple times in that first round. But then Joe said it afterwards to Joe Rogan. He was like, yeah, I realized that I can't finish this guy. So I just have to win. He's a wily veteran. He's been in there, yada, yada, yada. Kelvin I can't believe Kelvin's 30. He just looks like he's 45 in there. I look younger than Kelvin Gastelum right
He's
now.
55 in fight years. I mean,
he is.
And after that fight, he aged another 2 years. That was rough. The first round. That was rough.
Yeah. And Pyfer just fought a very mature fight. And I think Pyfer, it was nice hearing Joe kind of break down the fight the way that he did. It wasn't the Bo Nickel style of, hey, this wasn't boring. This is the best performance of my life. This was perfection. I should get a bonus for this. It was none of that. It was just yeah, man, this dude's real tough and I couldn't finish him. So I had to kind of veer off the game plan and just try to win the fight. Then he apologized for some of the things he said afterwards. And yeah, I mean, just all in all, it was a fine night for Joe Pyfer. Jed and I were talking about this on the watch party. There is 0 chance this fight happens, but I'm going to go and just put it out into the universe because this would be, I could see the poster now. It makes perfect sense. There's hashtags. It's Joe versus Bo. We got to get there. Joe already planted the seeds, calling Bo Nickel the definition of a fraud check. They're never going to do this fight. I mean, but they will at some point. We will see these two dudes fight each other. I would just do it now. Just do it now. Just do Pyfer versus Nickel. Let's have some fun. And that's it. But it's not going to happen next. So I'm basically foregoing an Otno point because they're going to give Bo Nickel the lowest ranked middleweight on planet Earth again, as they probably should. They definitely see more value in Bo Nickel than they do Joe Pyfer. But eventually we're going to get to Joe versus Bo. This is going to be the middleweight version of Max Holler versus Justin Gaethje, where I'm just going to keep saying it after either of these two guys fight until the end of time.
That would be a nightmare for me because I keep getting Joe Pyfer and Bo Nickel confused for some reason. They're not that similar. I think just they both kind of, entered the UFC around the same time off Contender Series. Bo's story was very different. He had to do multiple Contender Series appearances, as was planned. I mean, they would have signed him off the first fight if it wasn't like his third pro fight or whatever it was. But yeah, I just get them mixed up. I think like, I don't know, speech wise, they're kind of similar. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what it is.
They
I
kind
don't
of
want
look alike.
kind of like not that, but not even that much. It must be like maybe one or two features that are getting like mixed up in my head.
It's the red hair, AK.
It's the red hair. That's part of it
beard.
too. And again, I do think they just sort of came in around the same time with, both with a bit of hype. I mean, Bo more than Joe, but Joe had the whole Joe Pyfer thing. So yes, I get them mixed up a lot. They both got fraud checked. They've been fraud checked, whatever that is. I went with Bruno Ferreira, win, lose, or draw. He's fighting Ikram, I think, Ikram Askarov, UFC 318, July 19th. I don't want to give a Pyfer Ikram. I think so. I didn't want to do the winner of the fight. I think him and Bruno would just be a lot of fun. I just want to see someone get knocked out. I think Pyfer would be the one. I do think he's a step above Bruno, but it would be a willing dance partner for sure. Someone who's, he couldn't get the finish against Gastelum, but if he fights like he did,
nobody can.
Nobody can. Crazy. Some of the shots he's taken in his career. It is absurd. I don't know how he didn't get knocked out. But yeah, if Bruno takes any of those shots that Kelvin took on Saturday, Bruno's going down. So exciting stuff. I'm not rushing Pyfer to a top 10, ranking. I'm not worried about that. Let's keep building this guy up because he still has a lot of developing to do, right? He's only 15 fights in his career or something like that. Like he has a lot of developing to do, a lot of growing up to do inside and outside the cage. So let's keep giving him fun opponents, guys can get highlights against, and again revisit 6 to 12 months from now where we stand with Joe Pyfer.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, good win for Joe. Good win. Beating a guy like Kelvin Gastelum's not an easy feat, even though Kelvin's seasoned. To be nice about it, but yeah, we were talking about this on the watch party. If Joe Pyfer fought on any other Contender Series card for his second fight, would he be in the same spot? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Joe Pyfer just happened to have the performance he had on the worst Contender Series card of all time.
Right.
It was just all bad fights, and then Joe destroyed a dude, and it was like, you want to be on the show? Be Joe Pyfer, and Dana just put him over like Rover, man. It was just like perfect timing. It was just lightning in a bottle for Pyfer. And let's see if he can continue to evolve in and out of the octagon. Let's go to even Jed. Jed gave this man his last name back. It's no longer Wario Bautista. He actually called him Wario Bautista. He gave him the B back in the last name. Merab Bautista, let's not mince words or make any bones about it. He beat the hell out of Patchy Mix last night. That fight was not competitive for a second. He hit Patchy real quick with some quickness, a lot of combinations, and a lot of people are like, oh, maybe Patchy was injured. The second Merab Bautista started going, go back and rewatch the first 90 seconds of that fight. Patchy looked uncomfortable, but that's because of what Mario did to him early on. Mm-hmm. He set the tone immediately, and Patchy was like, oh no, this guy is way faster and sharper than I expected him to be. And Mario just went in there and did it, man. This was not a boring performance. He beat his ass. I mean, just busted him up. It was a great performance, man. And he got booed out of the building. Didn't get a post-fight interview, which is frigging insane to me. After that performance, it's just wild. But people just don't like this guy because they love Jose Aldo so much, and they hate how that last fight went. But man, this was an outstanding showing from Merab Bautista, and he kind of proved again. And I mentioned this at the beginning. I never thought Patchy was the best bantamweight in the world. I don't think I had him ranked anywhere. I don't think I had him above 3. And I think I gave him the 3rd spot because of how impressive the Grand Prix run was. But I was just never that guy that was like, oh yeah, this guy is the best bantamweight in the world. And I'm not trying to shit on a guy or pour salt in the wound. That's just how I've kind of always seen it. There is a big gap, especially in mixed martial arts, especially at 135, between very good and great. And Patchy Mix is a very good bantamweight. He is one of the 10 to 15 best bantamweights on planet Earth. And that's great. If I was one of the 10 to 15 best golfers with fighters in the world, I'd be pretty damn happy with that. That's a good place to be. But yeah, good for Merab Bautista, man. What are we doing with Mario now? Because he's not a big superstar. We didn't get the post-fight interview because that would have been I was looking forward to the Merab Bautista post-fight interview. How would the fans react to him? What would he say? Could he get himself over? Would he talk shit to the fans after booing him? I was looking forward to that. We didn't get it. said some stuff at the post-fight press conference, but what do we do with Mario here, AK, after this incredible outing from him?
Yeah, he was great. He was great. I'm sorry. I will comment on Patchy's performance just a little bit. Like, I actually accept whatever excuses people want to make that, oh, it was short notice. Oh, maybe there's an injury we don't know about. But that stuff doesn't matter. I'm sorry to say, it doesn't matter once you step in that cage. And like Mike said before, all the confidence, all the bravado does not help. The optics of the loss and the performance are so bad. So even if you want to say, look, you could talk me into saying, if Patchy had 3 months to prepare for Mario Bautista, he would have done so much better. You could actually talk me into that. I'll believe it. I'll support it. But guess what? He didn't have those 3 months. He had however much time he had when he signed up for, and that's it. Those are the rules of the fight. That is the reality we are dealing with. We can go at ifs and what would happen and blah blah. The reality is this is the circumstances, and he did not look good. And Mario Bautista looked great. All the credit to Mario Bautista. We in the MMA media, I don't want to say Mike necessarily, but certainly myself, Jed, a lot of us, well, listen, we were a huge part of kind of turning public sentiment against him for that horrible Jose Aldo win. But I like to think most of us maintained that was a problem with the judging and not with Mario Bautista. Mario Bautista did what he had to do to win. He was facing arguably one of the greatest strikers in MMA history and said, well, I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to play that game when I can do this. Should he have won? Should the judges have given him the fight? Probably not. But they did. And he greatly increased his chance of winning by fighting the way he did. And the way he fought this Saturday was really great. I just want to point out, man, the footwork was spectacular. We talked about, like, why didn't Patchy go for takedowns? And he certainly could have pressed the issue. But look how, if you watch the fight again, look out Bautista's hips. Look where his hips are at all times. They were almost never. His lower body was almost never still. They were always back. He was almost never like straight, except when he was like striking, when he was which he did with great success. But he was keeping his hips back at a good distance. So he didn't make it easy for Patchy to take him down. And later on, I think when Patchy did go for a few takedown attempts, like, Bautista was right there. So we can't say enough about Bautista's performance. It was great. Disappointing to see Patchy lose the way he did, but Bautista beat him straight up. No excuses, no other reasons. He just beat him. Mike, I'm going crazy here with it. I was so wowed by Mario Bautista. I am going with Umar Nurmagomedov for Mario.
Wow.
Let's go. I want to see Umar fight Merab again, but if he gets an immediate rematch, that would be patently absurd. Even if it's like Cory goes first and like Umar is just allowed to sit and get a rematch, that would be so stupid. I do think Umar is the guy to beat Merab someday, but not in an immediate rematch for him. That just makes no sense whatsoever. He needs more experience. He needs to beat other opponents. Umar needs to level up. So I want to see him fight Mario. And Mario, he's got 8 straight wins now. He kind of already has the resume of a title challenger. He's certainly behind Cory Sandhagen in the pecking order. But if he beats Umar, Cory gets his shot first. Umar Bautista winner gets a title fight. I'd be very happy to see it. And I don't think Umar is going to run through Bautista either. Like, you can't count Bautista out against anybody, man. You cannot count him against anybody. So I'm going for it. Swinging big. Let's see this happen.
I like that. I would see. And here's the thing. This is why I wish he had a post-fight interview, because that would have been the perfect call.
Yes, he would have
been tremendous. He may not have gotten it, but that would have been a perfect call out right there. So love that idea. I didn't go in that direction for Mario Bautista. I'm trying, like, there's honestly, for us watching the fight, right? We looked at Mario Bautista like, okay, this guy's good. And even when I talked to John Anik, he was like, look, I know this is the Patchy mix story, but like, maybe Mario is good at fighting, and we're just not giving him the credit because of how we feel about the Aldo one. And to John's credit, he definitely had a point there. I think this goes one of two ways. The one I'm not going with, I can absolutely see a world where Mario Bautista doesn't really move up in terms of like the rankings of competition. I could absolutely see it. The UFC is going back to Canada. They could absolutely do Mario Bautista versus Ayman Sahabi. Like, that is super possible.
Yeah.
I'm just going to play it safe. I'm going to go with the favorable odds here. I'm going with the low hanging fruit. Just rebook the Cheeto fight and just do that. Like, that's fine. Go ahead and do that.
Sure.
And that's that. And then, we'll see what kind of Cheeto goes from there. It's just right there. Cheeto's still kind of an over guy, and maybe that doesn't help the Q rating of Mario Bautista if he goes out there and just peppers Cheeto Vera for 15 minutes. But yeah, I'd like to see Bautista fight Umar. I just don't think they're going to give him that big of a step up. I think they're going to make him earn a little bit more. Let's go to Kevin Holland. Another thing I mentioned on this watch party, AK, because we are wrapping up this fantasy season here in the first half of 2025, which Casey Leiden has just officially locked up.
Has he? I need to do some math. I need to do my own math. I have not reviewed the numbers.
He just got like max points out of Merab. That's gonna be real tough to beat.
And two wins from Wang Tong in 2025. So he got a lot of points out of her. I told him yesterday on Slack, I'm upset that he used the strategy of picking good fighters who win fights. I think that's just dirty. That's just dirty. That's not fun. Oh, I'm gonna pick great fighters for my fantasy team. Boring, Casey.
Yeah. I feel confident I will get the bronze medal. I will at least make it up to the podium because I still have Ilya Taporia. I feel pretty good about things. But no one picked Kevin Holland. I feel like Kevin Holland is going to be like a top 3 or 4 round draft pick in the next one because this dude just fights all the time. Like, even if he loses, like, so what? He'll be back in 6 weeks and just do it again. Like, this guy could fight 3 more times in the back half of 2025. But he goes in there. As I said earlier, he was the talk of the day because of just 5 words, just tweeting things out, getting people riled up. Then the bell rang. He just destroys Vicente Luque, taps him in round 2. And you know what, AK? Because of how well he played this, and because Kevin Holland has redefined what a prize fighter is in the modern UFC era, he proved that you don't have to win belts to make money. He proved that you can have a fruitful career in the fight world without even being terrifically great. You just fight all the time and you're fun on the microphone and you help the UFC when it helps them and it helps you financially. Kevin Holland has mastered prize fighting in 2025. And now I'm going to reward him by giving this man the fight that he wants. He doesn't want to fight Carlos Praches. He doesn't want to fight Ian Machado Gary. He doesn't want to fight these dudes. He doesn't want to fight for belts. He doesn't give a shit about any of that. He just wants to fight the old, washed up kind of dudes, at least in his eyes. He wants to fight the Luques. He wants to fight the Gilbert Burnses. He wants to fight the Colby Covingtons. Let's give him Colby, because I'm telling you, if Colby Covington can't beat Kevin Holland, like, he's done. So let's just get this done. Like, this might be the most realistic, biggest fight Colby could get right now. That's like possible for him because he's not fighting anybody else that like has any cachet. And Holland is over, man. Like, people love Kevin Holland, and there's a group of people who really like Colby. So I think it's a fight that would be kind of interesting, and I love it. So I'm going to give it to him.
It makes a lot of sense. It was a great call out by Kevin Holland. That's doing the damn thing. That's perfect. You got to plant that seed, right? You got to plant that seed in the UFC's mind. Plant in Colby's mind. Like I said, maybe Colby's out there on social media, sees the call out, thinks about it a little bit, kind of helps to push the fight forward himself. I went a different way. I'll give you my pick in a second. I just wanted to calculate how many points Kevin Holland would have won someone if they had picked him. Even though he lost in January, he got the 2 wins over Luque and Gunnar. He got a finish on Gunnar. I didn't remember. He got a bonus for the Gunnar Nelson. He finished Luque, and then it was a performance of the night, I think, for Gunnar, because there was no fight of the night. So I'm saying it was Sean Brady, Tainara, Shauna Bannon, and Kevin Holland.
Crazy.
I get it. And I think we were like,
great performance.
It was, but I think we were like, why didn't like Chris Dunn? We thought it would be a fight of the night. I think that's what we thought. We're like, oh, that was a good fight. That's gonna be fight of the night. Instead, only it was one person got it. Very strange. Anyway, so he would have gotten someone like 300 fantasy points if they had picked him. Like, he literally could have swung, depending who picked him, he could have swung this league, which is pretty crazy. He just fights so much. I'm being selfish, Mike. I'm ignoring his call out. I'm ignoring his very sensible business strategy of, hey, just put me in there with names that I can beat and I can fight often and let me get paid. No, I'm waving my magic wand. I want to see him fight Carlos Praches.
I love that fight.
It'd be so fun.
That is the correct
He doesn't want
answer.
that. He doesn't want that. He is not hunting that fight.
He would do it, though.
He would do it, but he's not pursuing that fight, but he would do it. So this is more of a magic wand thing. I'd really love to see him fight Praches.
Yeah, that'd be wicked fun. Let's go to the wild card round, AK. And then after this, we will turn it over to you guys. Super chatters get to the top of the list, and we'll just kind of knock out a wild card round here where you guys just get after it with your picks. Please leave it to like fighters who actually competed last night and not just willy-nilly throwing out John Jones versus Francis Ngannou because that fight isn't going to happen. So just leave that in fantasy land. But we're going to select one fighter that we have not match made for, and we will match make for them right now. So I'm curious where you went with this, AK.
Mike, did you say wild card or did you say Waldo card? Because I picked.
Oh God,
that was so stupid.
Oh God, I'm solo screening you because what is this? You're giving him Tom Aspinall, aren't you?
No. We're not there yet. But I'm giving him a big name. Yes, I am giving him a pretty big name. The guy won 5 straight fights. I don't think the Spirit fight was a robbery. The 30-27 card definitely was. I have to watch again closely. Maybe I wasn't watching the fight closely enough, but I swear you had to score that first round for Spivak. But again, maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't watching that intently, and I have obviously not watched the fight again since Saturday night. So, but he won. Whatever. The judges gave him the fight. It's a 5 straight wins for Salsa Boy. More straight wins in the heavyweight division than John Jones. More consecutive wins than Tom Aspinall. All right, this guy is the hottest name at 265 right now. Let's give him a contender. Let's give him a long-time contender, someone who he will probably be a like plus 400 underdog against. Mike, I want him to fight Alexander Volkov. I want Salsa Boy and Alexander Volkov. And if Salsa Boy wins, you give this man his title shot in 2026. Joshua, what just happened? We just vibed in the chat. Joshua, right there.
Queuing up the band.
We're doing it cyber style, queuing at the band. Cortez Acosta versus Volkov. Joshua, you're right, man. You nailed it. This is the way to go. So that's my Waldo card pick, Mike.
What's that? Do we make history, AK?
Wait, what?
Did we just make history?
Shut up.
Did we just make history?
No.
We just made 1, 2, 3. No, we didn't. Of course we didn't.
Why would you?
Of course we didn't make history.
Why would you do that to me?
I'm not picking Waldo Cortez.
I was looking you. Why would you do that? I was looking you right in your face, and I'm like, I thought we were.
He ruined Rebellis to Spain. I will never forgive him for that. It's not his fault, but you know, I'm going with Patchy Mix. We're gonna match make Patchy Mix the correct way. Patchy Mix has to earn his stripes now, and that's just the end of it. He needs a tough ass fight against a guy that nobody really knows except for the hardcores, and I'm going to give this man his chance. I think he will gain a lot from this. And hopefully, this man is very active in 2025. It is time for Patrick Mix versus Montel Quick Jackson. That is the fight to make. I think Montel is ranked number 14 in the UFC rankings. Mix is probably going to be, I'm actually kind of curious to see how the UFC rankings panel ranks Patchy Mix after this fight. Do you think, will they put him in the top 15?
He will be in the top 15. My question is, where will you rank him? I did a little update of my own rankings last night. Just not for an article. Like we won't do a full divisional update till the end of the month, but I do like on the side, just kind of keep my own rankings. I did put him in the top. I put him in the top 10. I put him in the top 10, Mike, but I'm curious to see where you landed with. I think there's a very easy spot to put him in the top 10, but after that performance last night, it wouldn't shock me if people just did not even put him in the UFC top 15. Would not shock me in the slightest. Like I get it, especially anyone who's like not watched so much in Bellator and just kind of like we're like, okay, this is the first time I'm really going to focus on a Patchy Mix fight. Didn't look like a top 15 guy. Maybe didn't look like a top 20 guy. That was bad. That was real bad.
I will put him. He will be in the back. He will be in the lower third of the top 15 for me.
Wow. So who's he?
I don't know where I'm putting him.
Behind? Who's he behind? Would you say ish? What is some of the
Merab, Umar, Sandhagen, O'Malley, Jan, Mix, Figgy, Vera, Song, Font, Zahabi, Mario. He might be like 13 or 14.
Damn.
He'll be. I don't know for sure. I have to like really break this down. I think I'll have him at 14 ahead of Henry Cejudo. But then somebody has to go. I don't know. Maybe Cejudo's just out of the rankings and I put Mix at 15.
Could you? Mike, he shouldn't even be there anymore. Come on. Take him out.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where I have to put him. I mean, I had him at I think I had him. Me and Jed had unless Jed updated his.
Yeah.
I've had Mix like lower than everybody.
Yeah.
For the most part. I had him at 6 heading into this fight, and I wasn't very confident about that. But yeah, he takes a big drop here, man. Takes a big drop. I actually have Montel at 14 in my rankings, so I don't know. Maybe I'll put him in between. Maybe I'll put him at like 13. I don't know.
I'm probably being generous. I would have my top 10. It's funny because I'm also forgetting like the second Magomedov fight wasn't like a shining example of how good Patchy Mix is either. Like this is kind of and Magomedov.
I thought he lost that fight.
Yeah,
I thought he lost.
And that guy's really good. Like we're not trying to say like, oh, the fact that he had a tough fight with Magomedov in Bellator like is like, oh, that means that he's not good. Like that guy is really good. But this is kind of back-to-back performances now against top 15 guys who he didn't look amazing. So I shouldn't have him this high. I am going to have him in my top 10. I have him above Figgy and Zahabi, which maybe isn't fair. Maybe they should both be above Patchy Mix. I have him above Cheeto, above Rob Font. We'll see. I don't know, guys. You know what? Shout at me in the comments. I know I probably have him too high. I understand. That was bad. That was really bad on Saturday. That's really bad, Mike.
All right, let's go to the peeps.
Let's go.
We'll start the super chatters. A lot of repeat offenders in super chats. Let's go. Sleeto, Josh Van ready for a big step up to fight Moreno at Noche.
No. Why?
No, you guys are out of your minds.
Josh Van, am I crazy saying he's kind of on a Max Holloway-esque career arc? Is that a weird thing to say? He reminds me a little bit of Max in some way. Like
he's got a little. I could see some of that. Yeah.
Like I could see him taking another loss against someone, not Moreno yet, but getting a bit of a step up in his next fight, taking another loss, and that not ruining his chances of becoming a future champion, but him building off that, and then his run of like 9, 10, 11 straight victories is still to come. Like I don't think we should be aiming for that yet, though he's in a very nice start, 7-1 to start his UFC career, just the knockout to Charles Johnson, which no shame in it, especially the run that Charles went on. I don't know if that started a win streak or was like part of a win streak, I can't remember, but Charles Johnson, a very good flyweight. Yeah,
he's kind of tough to book, man.
Yeah,
he's 23. He's gonna bump up 2 spots in the rankings. Tim Elliott is booked to fight somebody. I think Urseg just got booked too. Who's Urseg fighting? Is he fighting Almabayev? Is that the fight?
He's fighting someone not ranked, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
No? I don't know.
Let me see.
Alex Perez. Oh, sorry. So he does have someone ranked. Should be ranked.
Oh, he's fighting Alex Perez. Okay.
Definitely the UFC rankings for sure.
Man, like even the loser of that is tough. But like, I kind of like the loser of that. Like he's 23. Just build him up slow.
Please, yeah.
He will fight for. He is going to fight for a title within 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He may not win it in his first shot, but within the next 24 months, he's gonna fight for the flyweight belt. Like dude's real good. So, but there's no need to rush him at all. Let's just build some experience. Harrison versus Nunes is a loser leave town fight, right?
I mean, Nunes for sure. If she loses, that's just one last payday. Nunes, if she wins, is probably also retiring. Who am I kidding? It's probably Nunes. It's almost a winner or loser leaves town. She's just getting one more payday, and then she beats Kayla. Retire again on top. Like I'm done. I've done it all. You could sort of say the same for Kayla. Like I get it, but I think Kayla wants a few more paychecks, right? I think she would, if she beat Nunes, hang around for at least 2 or 3 more fights and just fight again whoever it is that manages to bubble up in the 135-pound division and get those championship checks.
So I don't know, man. It depends on. I think it depends on how the fight goes. Like if it's a competitive fight and Harrison wins a decision, like I think those run it right back. Like they might just go to a different weight. Like if they do it at bantamweight and then go to 45, like just run it back. Like who gives a shit? So yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting question. Pena can make 125, 1 win versus Natty, then title fight. She's not gonna put her body through that. And she already won the belt twice. She's done enough.
And Pena would really not feel good at 125. And you put her in there with Natty Ice, that could end real bad. Like Pena could get hurt in that fight. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think you should write it out so plainly that she just beats Natty Ice and gets a title fight. I think Natty Ice is like a -400 favorite in that fight, so I don't see that happening.
Where in the world is Alessandro Costa? No,
Mike, wouldn't you like to know? After he abandoned?
I would have won fantasy if he didn't get hurt the first time we did it. Rob's Cutlass, Gastelum, and Lipsky. Cutting Kelvin, huh?
Kelvin. Well, I'll say this for Rob. Like Kelvin probably is a pretty big ticket item for the UFC right now. I imagine he's making either close to 6 figures or, somewhere at least over $80,000 per fight just to show. So if the UFC, if his contract were to run out, I don't know if he gets cut, but if his contract were to run out, he's definitely getting like a pretty harsh renegotiation, or they would just let him walk. And it sucks because Gastelum's pretty reliable, reliable test for anyone. But it's hard. It's just kind of hard to watch him at 185 because that is the division where he belongs, just because he just can't make 170. But he's so tiny. He's so tiny. There's that party that wonders, like, man, is there no way he can cut down to welterweight in a healthy way? Is there lifestyle changes he can make? And maybe he can't. Maybe he can't, right? We don't know the ins and outs of Kelvin Gastelum's life and his biology, so maybe he can't. But he is in limbo. Lipski, possibly.
Lipski's gone.
Yeah. You missed that weight, 6 pounds, boy. I know there was a medical excuse for it, so I hope she's all right. But it just was a really, really bad look, and not a particularly great performance on fight night.
Yeah, she lost the Queen of Violence nickname, and
she cost money. She cost money too.
Yeah. RS40 Holland Colby Price fight.
Prize.
Mario has 8 straight wins. He deserves the Omar fight. Sure, he does deserve it.
That's damn right.
Anything in the UFC. Gastelum versus Bernat would be a sick fight.
Wow.
Is 513 not booked?
While you look that up, let me just say Andreas Gustafsson is so much fun. That fight got some boos too. Like, they were really quick to boo, but I loved Gustafsson's just berserker style. Yeah, it led to some holding chaos.
The first 5 minutes of that fight were tough.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Oh, it wasn't pretty. Listen, none of by the end, it wasn't a pretty fight either. Like, there was nothing about the fight that was aesthetically pleasing. But I do think Gustafsson's another one of those like guys who's like just has great cardio, tough as hell, and he's going to come at you for 15 minutes. And if you're not ready, he's going to upset a lot of people, and he's probably going to finish some folks too. So really nice win for him. And I know there was some hype around his debut, even though like his results have, even before the UFC, he's been kind of inconsistent. Great win over Chaos Williams. And RS also saying Mirzakhanov versus Jan Blachowicz.
I mean, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Come on now.
Can we, Mike? He's old.
Yeah, but dude, like, he's not a star, and it's like,
yeah, undefeated.
He beat Brenson Ribeiro. Like that was the no disrespect to Brenson Ribeiro. Like, we knew what he was there for. He was there to get nuked.
Correct.
Like, it was the perfect. If you can't fight a ranked guy like Johnny Walker, like you chuck him in there with the guy who gets got real good, and Brenson Ribeiro gets got real good. So
he probably just gets the Walker. Well, Walker's supposed to be fighting
Zhang.
So he gets the winner of that.
Winner of that. Right? Yeah. I'm okay with that. Winner of that's fine.
Pretty much.
The Khalil Roundtree Jamal Hill loser is okay, I think.
Ooh, yeah, I like that too. Yeah.
Especially if Khalil loses, that's 2 straight. Like, that's okay. And I don't think anyone would complain. Like, I think Volkan Ozdemir is like the right fight.
Yep.
Right
there. Yes.
Do that. That's usually like, that's the litmus test for these guys. Like, you beat Volkan, then like, okay, then we could start talking about the Jans and the Yuris and stuff like that. That's kind of where we're at right now. Light heavyweight just stinks, man.
It's bad.
Like, I kind of hope he goes on a run and does something, but
it's so bad.
Yeah, it's very, very bad. All right.
Renat, did you find out about Renat?
Not booked. He was booked against Gabriel Bonfim, and then that fight fell out. Now Gabriel Bonfim's fighting Wonderboy Thompson. It's amazing how things can change real quick. Zero name recognition, but I'd watch Van versus Temerov.
Yeah,
that is going to be a UFC title fight at one point, I think.
Is Temerov not booked?
Temerov is booked. I'm pretty sure he's booked. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I'm pretty sure he is. It's a big fight too for him, I think. Is
he fighting in Baku or something? He's good,
yeah.
Man.
He's
another guy I'm really excited about. 28 in the prime. He's fighting Albayev.
Yes, big fight.
Abu Dhabi.
Yep, big fight.
Abu Dhabi. That's a good one. Okay. What else we got? Due to his body type, do you guys think O'Malley could cut to 125 for a fight against Royval? I think if he could, that would be fun. O'Malley has a hard time cutting to 35.
What does that mean, due to his body type? I don't understand.
Because he's long and lanky. Because he's not like jacked.
That's really difficult. Like, what I'm saying, like, that means that's like bone. You know what I mean? That's all bone and essential muscle. I can't imagine him. Like, could he do it? Yes. Would he be able to compete in a meaningful way on fight night? Probably not. No, man, don't do that. Don't do that, O'Malley, please.
Can we get their thoughts on UFC 320 being October 4th in Las Vegas?
I have none. What?
Not surprised.
Yeah, what thoughts?
No, they moved Noche to a fight night in San Antonio, so that September's out for pay-per-views.
Yep.
So now they're going to do 2 in October. So they'll make up for it. There'll be 2 in June, 2 in October. So there you go. Back to Vegas. Cool. Where are they? I'm surprised it's not like a Salt Lake City card though, because usually that's where they go in October for the first of 2 is they go to Salt Lake. So perhaps maybe Salt Lake squeezes in somewhere else. I don't know. 318 in Vancouver. No. Vancouver's getting a fight night.
It's just a fight night. Yeah. Probably headlined.
318 is in New Orleans. Who does Pyfer fight next? We discussed that already. I went with Bo Nickel, even though that fight's not going to happen.
I went with Bruno Ferreira. Win, lose, or draw in his next fight.
Mike has a habit of always touching his earpiece. I think he's a former pilot back in the day. LOL. I have like weirdly shaped like inside ear holes.
Me too.
So like I cannot. There is not a earbud in the world that fits perfectly in my ears. And I got to do with my right ear. It's just like an old radio trick. I got the cans, but like
Mike, you got to get the big cans.
To me, it's like a distraction.
People love the big cans. I don't know what to tell you, man. People love the big cans.
I have great, like I have great cans. I mean,
you do have great
headphones.
Yeah.
Great headphones. I got the Sony,
you do.
the Sony Pros there. To the best in the business. But I never really wear.
I also have weird ears from. I did MMA for like 2 months. The only time I ever trained MMA for like 2 months, and I'll never forget where I was doing some grappling. Someone like rolled over on my head, and I got to experience a very light cauliflower ear moment. And then I actually did have to get it drained, and I said, I'm good. I'm never going to grapple again. My ears are too beautiful. But unfortunately, that one ear is like permanently sort of slightly misshapen, and yes, I cannot really effectively jam earbuds in there.
Mario versus Song Yudong. There we go, fixing it again. I don't mind that. I would assume Song Yudong's going to fight on that Shanghai card. I know there are rumors fighting Rob Font. From all I'll say about that is it's not MMAfighting.com, so we'll just leave it at that. But I assume Song will just fight somebody on that card because that would make a lot of sense. Bautista versus Vera, just Boza with me.
Yeah.
Another Mario versus Song. Azamat versus Jan.
I don't know many guys. Do you not have like Wang Tong matchups? Do you not have Quill and Selkild matchups? Come on, chat.
Bautista versus Zahabi, Battle of the Aldo losers, or the guys that lost to Jose Aldo. I think is what he's trying to say, which I respect that. Day for the Shanghai card.
Yeah,
what's that? July 22nd, or is that August? Maybe it's August.
I barely remember this card was happening. I think until someone mentioned it onto the next one, like last week. So,
yeah, and the UFC still hasn't even announced the main event yet for that one, which is August 23rd. Is the Shanghai card.
A lot of people ask about Van and Urseg. Did we talk about Van and Urseg already?
I love that fight.
Yeah, me too.
Vinny Six is booked, so
yes,
we have to wait. But that's fun.
We did talk about that. That's
right. Especially if Vinny Six like loses like a fun fight, because the Moreno fight was fun.
Mm-hmm.
He lost, but it was fun. Gustafsson versus D-Rod. Damn.
Michael Sparks says Tong versus the Doctor. Yeah, where is was it Shiming? Who was that? Shiming? I apologize if I'm getting her name wrong. We've only seen her fight in the UFC once. Where is she? Yes, the Doctor. Where is she? She she had that knockout last November. You know what? Maybe she's just in the lab training. You know what? Maybe she is just working on her game. If that's the case, and also again, she is like a real life doctor, so probably busy. Maybe fighting, not her full time profession. But yeah, I would love to see her get it back in there.
Who's next for you? Who is definitely, if we were ending the year right now, I don't know if he has the knockout of the year, like in terms of like how most people would award it, but he's on the list for show.
Jekasaragi, I mean, listen, Jekasaragi went in saying, "Hey, knock me out, brother."
Perfect matchmaking. Perfect matchmaking.
Chin forward, arms flying every which way. He's like, "Bring it. I dare you to knock me out." And sure enough, and listen, this is why you keep the Jekasaragis on the roster. This is what they are for. Thank you, Jekka. You did the job. And Jusang Yu just looking great in his debut. Where do you go with this guy? He's not like incredibly young. I think he's 30, right? I want to say he's young in MMA years. Like he's maybe just a late
31
start. 31. been fighting since 2021 pro. Okay, so like not a ton of mileage on him. I see some amateur fights too. So he is young in fight years, which is great. I have him like, in like the 50-60 range in my rankings. A lot of names in there. Austin Lingo. I don't know who's booked here, by the way, guys. I'm just reading off random names. Melsik Bagdasarian. It actually gets pretty tough the higher you go. So that might be the range you want to stay at. I don't know if you want to go too crazy. Weston Wilson's out there, I think, still.
Dude, this is such a good division.
You do Christian Rodriguez. You give him the undefeated. You give Christian Rodriguez the undefeated.
How dare you?
Give him another undefeated guy. See what happens.
I think you give him like Connor Matthews.
Sure.
Like just do that. You know what I mean? Like Connor's a scrapper. He'll fight him and he'll probably get stopped. But like, let's trot him out there and get another nasty finish. And then we can. The Billy Q thing's a little too soon.
Way too soon.
One more win, and I will be okay with that fight. But like when I was thinking about fights I want to see for him in the next like 18 months, Billy Q is right at the top of the list. That's perfect. It's just not perfect right now. Is Dawson versus Alvarez official? No. Is it on MMAfighting.com? Is it on MMAfighting.com? Of course we saw the report. It's not done. Could it happen? Sure. I don't even think from like the conversations we had, I wouldn't even say it's like fully in the works from the conversations that we've had. So
I see Rock Kid saying you versus Lucien Keita. He's the Octagon champion at UFC Paris. I want to see Keita in the UFC for sure. Again, but that's too much for you. People, we had someone on this very card who was like kind of overhyped after her first performance. Wang Tong, she knocked out Victoria Leonardo in brutal fashion. Everyone's like, oh my gosh. And she had that previous kickboxing.
It's
like, guys,
debut fighter.
You have to gauge who they are being put up. And again, I'm not criticizing the winner. I'm just saying people like Jekka and Victoria Leonardo, God bless them,
Priscilla
Cachoeira are paid money to go in there and get knocked out. They are super tough human beings who are just well trained enough to protect themselves, not well trained enough to avoid like getting KO'd in highlight reel fashion. So pump the brakes on you. Like I said, in MMA years, he's very young. Let's keep him in that lower range. He does not need to be fighting like really, really good veterans. I actually think Keita would be a huge favorite over him. I do not want to see that right now. So he'll fight a contender series guy next, probably, if we're being honest.
I've seen a lot of this Van versus Asakura. I mean, am I going to complain if they book that fight? No, I wouldn't do it.
It'd be awesome.
But we're going to get there. All these fights we're throwing out, we're going to get him. Josh is going to fight all these guys at some point. We just don't need to see it right now. Let's build some stuff up. I saw Seward on the concession line last night. Sick.
I see. I think Joseph saying Zong's going to be ranked for sure. I don't know. Should be ranked for sure. I think Ariana De Silva is definitely going to drop out. But she just
lost to Gabriel Fernandez. That'd
Wong,
be tough, dude.
Yeah, Wong. Unless you're going to rank them both, I can't imagine Wong jumping over Gabriela. Like, why? It's fine. She beat a very, very poor shapes.
AK, look at this fight.
Look
at this fight. Look at this fight.
WTA versus
this is Apex.
Tabura.
Oh my God, this might be the one. If they do, you know what? Ice both these guys till UFC Vegas 200. That's your main event.
By the way, we have like two future Apex headliners. Evaldo Cortez Acosta is definitely going to headline a main event, Apex main event, and Friggin Mirzakanov with his I don't care who I fight next, just give me a fight that's going to put me in the contender. Guess what? You just got a top 15, a top 10 opponent, Azamat, and it's going to be headline the UFC Apex card. So thank you guys for doing the UFC's job for them. They have a lot more Apex cards to fill up the rest of the year, and you are now the headliners of those cards.
If Aspinall's fight gone, Bone should be required to relinquish the belt.
How dare you?
They book Aspinall versus Gone, Jones is not the champion anymore. Like, that's it. Dana pretty much said it last night. Like, Dana keeps trying to fight for this fight.
He does.
It went from 100% guaranteed to no. I talked to John. He agreed to, oh, John said that? That's effed up. I'm going to do everything I can to make this fight. Like, the tone has changed 100%. The fight, like, dude, just get it done. Like, it doesn't kill the fight forever. Maybe, like, Tom fights somebody else and John's like, you know what? F it, I'll fight this dude. But he just doesn't have to be the champion anymore. Like, John has said on social media, I will relinquish the belt. Just tell me how to do it and I'll do it. He's done it before. Just take the belt off of him. Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane is terrible. I have no interest in that fight whatsoever right now. There's only 2 options for Tom Aspinall, and both are electric. One, if Derek Lewis beats Talish and Teixeira, just do that. It's fun and wacky and weird, and Tom's going to look great, and maybe Derek Lewis is a highlight reel moment. Heavyweight stinks. Ciryl Gane does not deserve a title shot, so just give it to Derek Lewis. But the correct answer is what Jed Meshew has been saying. It's Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall for the undisputed heavyweight belt. And that's that, man. Like, just do that. That's a big fight. Who cares?
I'm not talking about John Jones. I refuse. I refuse to talk about John Jones. I have refused to put anything John Jones related on my social media. I'll write about it. I'm sure you guys see MMAFine.com. I'm sure I've written a handful of John Jones, Tom Aspinall articles, but I'm not talking about it.
Gastelum versus Battle is real interesting.
Now, Battle should be like, further ahead, but he lost so many points with that weight miss last time, and then a kind of a shaky
and then tripling down on it.
Yeah, and then
he took the fight. That takes your excuse away.
And arguably didn't beat Randy Brown, if we're being honest. Like that was a I don't want to say robbery, but that was close. So it sucks because what's Randy Brown, like 7-1, 8-1 in the UFC? Like he should be well out of Gustafsson's range, but yeah, man, I don't know if he can be making any sort of demands now. So
that's a sick fight, man. That's interesting. We'll take a couple more. We'll get out of here. Thinking of light heavyweight, I do wonder what they're going to do with Olberg because he seems in a weird spot at the moment. Dude, this is the easy. Don't worry about Master Universe Classic. I got you. It's Carlos Olberg versus Dominic Reyes. Winner gets a title shot.
There you go.
That's it.
Done.
That's it. Olberg did not earn his title shot with the win over Jan. It was terrible. It was a bad fight, and no fan is clamoring for it. Let's give Reyes his feel-good story. Let's give him his chance. Give him a #1 contender fight, and if he goes out there and knocks Carlos Olberg out, Dominic Reyes fights for the light heavyweight belt, and if he wins, it'd be one of the greatest comeback stories of all time. Like a man who probably should have been champion after the John Jones fight. So that's how we book one Carlos Olberg right now.
Done and done. Masters of the Universe. Don't think about it anymore. That's one less thing for you to think about. Just Mike just fixed it. Yeah, done.
This is so easy. Strip John, or you can even present it. Paint the PR picture. It's the Terry Francona getting fired from the Red Sox. We have decided to amicably part ways because Terry won him a championship and was a big part of what the Red Sox did, winning titles when the curse was reversed. You don't say like, we fired this dude because he had a bad season. Oh no, it's the Tom Coughlin situation. Like, this is how you do it. We have agreed to have John let go of the belt. It's not a stripping. It's not a vacation. We're just like, okay, let's just do that. Ferrer goes up and fights for the heavyweight belt. Yuri fights for the light heavyweight belt against Ankalaev. And then we do Olberg versus Reyes. Winner gets the winner of the title fight. Perfect. We just nailed it.
Done. I'm not talking about John Jones. I'm not talking about John.
How much longer until John is finally stripped? Dana was saying it will happen.
I'm not talking about John Jones. I'm Mark McGuire at the steroid trial once upon a time. I'm not here to talk about the past, Mike. I'm not.
I have never. Are you Mark McGuire or are you Rafael Palmeiro?
I'm Mark McGuire. I'm not here to talk about.
I have never, ever taken a performance-enhancing drug.
Emphatic.
Meanwhile, I'm staring at your drug. It's got everything in it. I don't know, man. This is part. I truly believe he hasn't stripped John because John is part of the negotiation rights. Like, he's not in the room with them, but like when they do a slideshow presentation for Netflix or they put a binder together and it's like, here are our champions. John Jones as the heavyweight champion just sells better to the casual audience who is looking to spend $1 billion on a product than, oh, here's Tom Aspinall, who is on his way to being something great, but no one knows who he is really. He's getting more popular. So I think until once they announce a TV deal, Once we know what that is, then I think John will no longer be champion shortly thereafter, would be my guess. So, okay, I think we're done at this point. So the UFC, no weeks off for a little bit, I think until after International Fight Week. Let me pull up the UFC's return to Atlanta, Georgia next week, a fight night card. A lot of good fights coming up. This card is a great main event. Great main event. Rest of this card is like, okay. Honestly, like I'll run it down for you. AK in a podcast form next week. Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. Terrific fight. Like this is, I'm so fascinated by this fight. I have no idea what it's going to look like. Big opportunity for Joaquin Buckley. We'll see what Kamaru Usman can do. Rose Namajunas versus Miranda Maverick is the co-main event. I would say mileage may vary on that fight. I'm like okay with it. I'm not like jazzed about it. Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Petrosky. What are we doing here? Why are we making this fight?
We're about to win some
money.
Why
are we making this fight?
We're about to win some money, Mike, is what we're about to do. We're about to win some money.
Petrosky by decision or over 1.5? Like
I don't know what the odds. I want to see what the odds are because if he's anywhere just like minus, lower than minus 200, I'm about to straight up bet him.
And then we got back-to-back Codys. Cody Garbrandt, the former bantamweight champion, taking the Ione Barcelos. Before that, Cody Brundage versus Mansour Abdul Malik. Picture perfect matchmaking right there. That's exactly how you book Mansour. Alonzo Menafield against Umar Sy. Paul Craig, Hidalgo Bellato. I totally forgot Michael Chiesa, Court McGee was on this card until I just looked at it. That fight's happening.
Finally.
The people's main event, though. They should just bump this right to the co-main event. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Chris Boutinho. Ooh. Chris Boutinho is back in our lives, and people are fired up for that. Shout out to Chris Boutinho. I'm hoping to talk to him sometime early next week. Cody Durden versus Jose Ochoa. Ricky Simone versus Charles Jourdain on that card, AK.
This is a good card.
Phil Rowe, Angelosa, Vanessa Demopoulos versus Jamie Lynn Horth. You know what? As I read it down, it's better than like I originally thought it was when I said it's okay, but I still stand by that it's the main event's great and the rest of the card is like fine, but not spectacular.
Andre Petrosky, Mike, is currently plus money. I just want to tell people right now, don't bet on MMA.
Really?
Listen, Mike.
Ooh,
I tell people, Mike, while you're making a bet on FanDuel, I tell people don't bet on MMA. But if you're going to bet on MMA, 1, use FanDuel. 2, you bet on Andre Petrosky at plus money when he's fighting Edmund Shabazian. That's just where I'm at. And I don't know what's going on.
I'm sending a text.
You've got a lot of text to send to people, Mike.
I'm sending a text because I'm in South Carolina, so I have to make a move right now.
I do want to tell people.
Plus, yes. I'm locking it. It's gonna happen.
Mike,
when you said he was plus money, I thought he was gonna be like plus 120. He's plus 170 right now. He's plus 168 on FanDuel. Like
this is gonna move. This line by Tuesday will be.
This is crazy.
He should not be an underdog.
Terrible fight for Edmund Shabazian.
He should not be an underdog.
I mean, Edmund could win, but like this is the antithesis of like what he has beaten in the UFC. Every time they throw him in there with the guy who can grapple at all and can't get hurt, he loses. This is just weird.
Sleeto is asking, why do we think Petrosky beats Edmund? Edmund
Edmund Shabazian fight
cannot beat grapplers, and Petrosky, all he does is grind, wins out, and take people down and grind, wins out. So he has a hard. Not only that does he have a hard time beating grapplers, he has a hard time beating grapplers who don't get hurt by anything and don't stop. I mean, just look at the resume. Look at what he's done. Darren Stewart. This is early. Charles Byrd, Jack Marshman, Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares one was nasty. Derek Brunson grappled the shit out of him, finished him. Jack Hermanson tackled him, beat him dominantly. Nasruddin Imavov mauled this man, just tackled him, elbowed the crap out of him in crucifix. It was nasty. Then he fights. Then the UFC is like, okay, we got to do something here. Who's the worst middleweight on the roster? Oh, I know. A guy who won't try to tackle him at all. Let's throw him in there with Dolce Lungambula.
Perfect matchmaking. Edmund gets the win. And you know how they followed that up when he got momentum back?
This was the best. This was the best.
This is literally the best. I mean, this is what they do. They're like, okay, we got it right now. And they're like, okay, maybe he's ready for Anthony Hernandez. They throw him in there with Fluffy.
What in
Fluffy
the world?
Hernandez, who just murks him.
What was that?
And then they're like, okay, let's take a step back. AJ Dobson. Perfect matchmaking.
Great.
Terrific. A guy who's just going to stand there and strike. And you want to know what they did next? Gerald Meerschaert. Gerald Meerschaert was the right play, who got hurt in the first round, didn't die, and then submits Edmund Shabazian in round 2. And then they're like, okay, let's go back to Dylan Butka. I mean, terrific matchmaking. And they're like, okay, let's go to Andre Petrosky, who's just going to tackle this dude a million times and is basically is going to be like 235 pounds when this fight starts. That dude is a tank at middleweight. He's not the most fun guy. He doesn't get knocked out. He doesn't get hurt. I don't understand it.
I'm so sorry I said it was tangent, but I hope people, again, I say don't bet MMA, but I hope people make money off this if you are the gambling sort. Mike, let me just tell people real quick. We'll be back in podcast form next week. You can send your picks to Mike M _ it's right on the screen, guys. M _ Heck Jr. JR, excuse me, on IG. I'm on Twitter at Alexander K. Lee. At Alexander K. Lee on Instagram, at alex.lee at SBNation.com on email. My DMs are open. Send us picks next week, guys. I think we'll have a lot of interesting storylines. Definitely send us picks. Help us figure out what the hell to do with all this.
Yes, do that. By the way, I'm just going to break it right here, AK. I'm just going to break it. I'm turning the closed music down. I'm going to break it. Programming alert. No BTL on Thursday. BTL is going to be Tuesday. 2 p.m. Eastern, Jed Meshew is going to take on an old friend, our old pal. He's back. The wise wordsmith, Shaheen Al-Shadi.
What?
Shaheen Al-Shadi is coming on BTL Tuesday. The reunion is on. I'm very excited for this. So stick with us, MMAfighting.com. Jed will be at UFC Atlanta next week, so go say hello, take some pictures, say nice things. And, it's going to be a pretty wild week here at MMAfighting.com. Stick with us. For AKI Mike Heck. We'll see you next week on to the next one. Good day to you.